And welcome back. This is Power Breakfast. This morning we're going to talk a little bit about your oral hygiene and just basic dental care. We're privileged to have Dr. Lucy Mutar here in the studio. I see you came with props, so thank you.
You're welcome.
And welcome to Power Breakfast. So we're just going to talk about some everyday things that we should be doing to take care of our oral health. Yes. First question, yes. How often should we visit you as a dentist to get either a cleaning or a checkup? How many months should go by before we've done that?
We like to say twice a year, but that question is best answered by your own dentist.
Okay.
Because in my practice I find that majority of my people see me once a year. I think probably twice a year might be too often to visit a dentist.
Right, right.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's just talk about the basics, right? Everyone knows we should be brushing our teeth daily.
Yes.
If you can talk about brushing and flossing,
yes,
and the combination of that and how often that should happen and the techniques as well.
Yes. Most people know that one should brush their teeth, and because there have been so many messages, from the media, everybody knows that they should brush their teeth twice a day. I think majority of the people know that they should brush their teeth twice a day. But what many people don't know is that it is very important to brush your teeth last thing at night, because when you sleep, the flow of saliva falls down. Otherwise, you would choke in your sleep. So whatever food or whatever acid or any bad thing that's on your teeth has got all the time to work on your teeth whilst you're asleep. So it is really good. If you're going to brush your teeth once a day, it should be best at night. Actually, research has shown that if you brush your teeth very well, you can get in at night. You can just get by with just brushing without even any toothpaste. Just sort of just passing the brush. We say brush for health at night and brush for society in the morning.
That's a good thing. I like that. Let's talk about the technique. Like I said, I saw that you brought some of your tools here with you.
Yes.
So just proper brushing techniques, and also with the flossing, which comes first? Do we floss before we brush? Do we brush before we floss? Now,
normally, I haven't come with paste today, because toothpaste, I think everybody has their preference, and unless you have a particular reason why you should change from one to the other, most of them, because they are standardized by the Kenya Bureau of Standards, you will find that whatever you find in the shop shelves is good enough to use, and must be age appropriate also because of the content of fluoride. Now, in terms of technique, why do we brush? We brush because we want to remove the whitish film on the teeth that normally comes from saliva. So that film, when it's deposited on the teeth, that is what can trap sugars and cause decay. It is what can build up and look unsightly, at the same time give you a bad smell in the mouth, at the same time cause a bit of angry gums, so that your gums bleed when you brush. So when one brushes, you must think. I like to use the analogy of a sink, because if you have a sink that's a bit leaky, it has that white stuff, the white scale that comes on the sink. So you need a firm pressure, not to scrub too hard, because if you scrub too hard, even on a sink, you will remove the graze. So the same thing happens with the tooth. If you scrub too hard, you'll actually remove some of the covering of the tooth, which we call the tooth enamel. So we recommend a firm grip, and just brush over and over again in one place. We, over the years, just like in everything else, there have been various fashions. So there's been the close, the up and down, the circular. But right now, it's really recommended that you put the brush in one place and just scrub gently. It must be a soft brush, and scrub gently until that place feels smooth. Actually, when you do that, you can literally you feel the brush starts to grind, so you can actually tell that whatever scale was on the tooth has come off. So when one brushes, as you can see from this model, you brush the surface that one can reach, but a tooth also has the surfaces that go in between, and that is why and many people don't like to think about it, that people have to floss. Generally speaking, most people need to start flossing from around the age of 30. Why? Because no matter how meticulous you are in your daily brushing, you will find that the gums start to shrink. You know, just like at some point the knees goes and you know your joints start knocking. So similarly, even with the gums, no matter how good you are at brushing and taking care of your mouth, with age the gums will start to shrink. When that happens, the gaps between the teeth tend to open up. Thereby, when you eat, things start to go in between the teeth that need to be removed. The drawback with flossing with most people is because they have never been taught the technique. And I must sort of tell all the dentists listening to me out there, don't be shy to teach dental flossing or toothbrushing at any age. I will have a 55-year-old on my chair and I should not hesitate to teach them.
Better to learn later than
yes, yes. I never assume that they learned, because like in this country we don't have a health program whereby children are necessarily taught. Some are taught, some might have missed that opportunity, although there's of course a lot of work going on. So if I can go on to flossing,
please go ahead and teach us.
I normally say that floss might look expensive, like what I'm holding in my hands is about 50 meters, so it's a lot, and what one needs is to cut the length of your hand.
That much?
Yes, this is what you need to brush. For anybody brushing, and you cut that amount, and then you will proceed to have what I call the clean and the dirty fingers. So you continue to wind it. You wind the clean floss all along here, and then you just need to have enough here. Any floss worth its salt would not cut when you do this. It should be able to make that taunt sound, but not really cut. So I only have a little bit here to secure it, but most of it is here. So when you start to floss, you place the floss in between the teeth and literally do a back and forth movement so that it can just gently get into the space. So once it's in the space, you curve it so that it can clean and remove it. When you take it out, and this flossing should be after toothbrushing, so you already have the toothpaste in your mouth. So when you finish, when you put down your brush, you take up your floss. Now remember, you have paste in your mouth already.
This is before you've rinsed out.
And this is before you've rinsed out. So you already have the paste in your mouth. So assume that this part is dirty now. So you will just wind this now. The dirty finger now, you wind the dirty part and you open a clean part. This is because you can actually transfer bacteria from one. You can have one gap that's breathing and one that's not. So you can actually move from one gap to the other and spread disease. And that is why I came with this. And I came with this stick to show that this is not a tool that should be used for everyday flossing. This is a tool to carry in your wallet for occasionally, machoma, and
you just need something.
You just need something, yes. But otherwise, you just move on. And if you find a gap that is too tight to floss, it's probably too tight to get any food. So you haven't got to sort of be paranoid. Most people have maybe 2 or 3 gaps that they need to floss, and you will know them and just make it part of your routine. I recommend that you put the floss where it is convenient. Put it next to your toothbrush. Put maybe one in the car and put one in the office. That way you're never tempted to be using toothpicks, because we sometimes spend time removing splinters of wood from people's gums.
That's a good point as well. Back to when you're demonstrating a brushing technique, you said that the brush should be soft. In terms of selecting the proper toothbrush for you, and toothpaste also, you mentioned fluoride, because there are toothpastes without fluoride and some with. So how do we go about selecting what's proper for us?
Yes, in terms of the toothbrush, one should use the softest that is effective. And honestly, there's still some debate as to whether one should use very soft, ultra soft, medium. There's just all sorts of things, and that is something to work together with your dentist, and they can sort of recommend what to use. For example, I guess because of my age, I have many of my clients who are my age mates, whereby the gum now is starting to show around the margins of the teeth. And when your gums start to show, the normal, like this is a much younger person, I would say, and this is probably an older person. Okay, this is supposed to illustrate gum disease, but even in the absence of gum disease, as you grow older, your gums the roots of your teeth will start to show something like this. So when a young person can use a hard brush, because you're brushing maybe a medium texture, because they have the enamel, which is very hard. But the minute you start to expose the root, you have now the softer covering of dentine. If you use the same brush, you will find that you make cavities. I mean, I have people who come in and they have cavities all along the neck of their teeth, as we call it, and I tell them, they've already done the work for me of cleaning out their tooth. All I have to do is just feel. So such a person, of course, I recommend that they move to a soft brush, even an extra soft brush. Yes, then they are there in the market.
That's interesting. One thing I just have to go through quickly, because I know this is a common question that a lot of viewers might have. There are people who have just bad breath. I've heard it's called halitosis. It's an actual disease. What causes that? Is it treatable? And are they aware of their bad breath?
Yes, it is a well-recognized disease. It is a bit of a sensitive issue, because people who are near you might not feel free to tell you. Many people who come and they say, oh, my spouse or my boyfriend told me to come and see you, but they're not quite telling you why they were told to come and see you. But a good check is that to lick the inside of your list. If you lick the inside of your list and smell it, you can tell how your breath is. Yes, because you're transferring saliva to a pulse point, and this place is pretty warm, so it will vaporize whatever gases. So you can actually tell. I mean, even if you sort of have an interesting, an important meeting, you can quickly check that to see
your breath.
Check your breath to see that you are okay.
So is it a treatable disease?
It is treatable in, I would say, in about 9 out of 10 cases. It is treatable. In the remaining cases, unfortunately, there are people who have to keep using medicine to keep down the infection. I would say majority of the cases it comes from the mouth, because maybe the cleaning, the brushing has been done, the flossing hasn't been done. But that, for a long time, I don't even find that to be a problem. Maybe because we are in Nairobi, but for those listening, even up country, when they're able to brush even with the chewing sticks, and they keep their mouth clean. But there's a group of people who have a gum infection that is inherited. It's from family to family. If you come from a family that is likely to lose their teeth when they are very young, there is a form of gum disease that attacks the gums. And even when you're young, it starts from around the 20s. And when you have that sort of gum disease, it means that your gums get destroyed, even with very little stains on the teeth. You could be brushing very well, but your gums still have like an active infection all the time. So the gums are sore all the time. What it means is that the body is always bringing soldiers at the gum line, to fight the perceived attack. So it's like an over-aggressive watchman, who just sort of lets the dogs loose or that sort of thing. So when that happens, because of the blood being so close to the surface, there's that smell of blood that's forever there. So that sort of thing we treat with antibiotics. You might end up getting treatment for up to 7 weeks. Of medicine. So all the dentists would know, sort of what to medicate. Some people, majority of the people will probably be better after they've gone over the entire course of the treatment. Some people just need maybe just a week of treatment. So your dentist will probably see you after the first week, and every 2 weeks after that
to advise.
To advise. And if you are diagnosed to have that sort of disease, the dentist will usually ask you to see them every 3 months. Sometimes even more frequently, depending on the signs. Because if somebody is on medicine, I probably say, you've been on medicine for long, let me take you off the medicine, but then I have to see you more frequently to make sure that you're okay. All
right, well, just about out of time. I had many more questions for you, so maybe we won't get to them today, but maybe you can just give us your closing remarks on 1 or 2 things that we can do every day to improve our oral hygiene and, our dental care in general.
Yes. I would just give 1 tip about the children to brush their teeth as soon as they have teeth. That's from about the age of 1.5 to 2. And for all of us also, last thing at night, toothbrush and toothpaste should be the last thing in your mouth at night. If you forget everything else,
remember
that's a good thing to remember. In the morning, don't worry. If you don't want to put toothpaste, you can just run the brush. Yes.
For
and
society.
mouthwash, if it's medicated mouthwash, the kind you get from the doctor, don't keep on buying more. Just use what you were given, because most of the stronger mouthwashes would change the way you taste things.
So those are not for every day.
They're not for every day use.
Okay. Dr. Lucy Mutara, thank you so much for sharing this very important information with us, and I hope that you've gained a tip or two from her. Like I said, I still had more questions, so maybe you can come back another time and we can continue this conversation. You're still watching Power Breakfast. Do stand by. Man Cave up next, hosted by Willis Ramburu, who is back finally. So we'll be back after this break.